Hi, hello, and welcome back to a podcast where I talk about going from corporate drone to corporate dropout as a fitness and gaming content creator and everything in between. You know it, you love it. Welcome back to Chaos and Fuckery, and I have no idea what I'm doing. Yep, that's pretty much the extent of the theme of this episode. I hate all of my ideas. I have been in a massive creative block. I don't know what I want to do for podcast episodes. I don't know what I want to do for short form content. I hate all of my ideas suddenly for long form content. And I think that's mostly because I've been looking at my analytics. I know that my video game reviews, right, the ones where I talk about the fitness games and, how they compare against the gym and can they replace the gym or what to do to incorporate them into your gym environment, those videos do well. Those videos actually do really well. They're the only videos that do well at the current moment, aside from the I try different meal prep services video. I cannot afford to do I try product videos all of the time. I am not former Fat Guy Fitness that somehow has a giant house full of products. And I'm assuming he gets a lot of them sent to him at this point, but still, until I get to a point where I am actually getting companies to send me things to review, I cannot afford to buy products all of the time. I have one backlog video of I tried the Mountain Dew cookbook because gamers, obviously we want to know if the Mountain Dew cookbook is actually worth it. I bought that like a year ago though, and I just cannot convince myself to make any of the recipes. Partially because I was doing meal prep for a really long time to try and, contain my nutrition. But I'm back to cooking regularly just because money. I wanted to see. I thought $100 a week for 8 meals was a decent, and it is a good deal. Don't get me wrong. It is a good deal, especially with the time you save. But I can also spend roughly $200 at Costco and not have to shop for a month for anything other than, caffeine, give or take a few other things. So that being said, I hate everything about my business currently. And I go through this phase every 2 or 3 years where I want to nuke everything. And that makes it more complicated because I want to start over with a new coaching app. I wish I could write my own because I hate them all. I have never found a coaching app that I wish I had the time. I can write my own. Fun fact, being a software engineer has its benefits when you're trying to be an entrepreneur as well. I could write my own app. I don't have the time to write my own app. But in the future, I almost certainly will invest in writing my own app when I'm not working full time as a kind of side project to use my engineering skills, because I hate every fitness app that exists. And you know what I'm going to do? To create a fitness app that has a fucking macro and calorie tracker integrated into it. Because you know what I hate as a fitness person? If I were to be working with a coach, which I'm not currently, but if I was, I loathe having to go to 2 different apps to do the things I need to do for my coach. Why do none of the fitness coaching apps have their own, version of MyFitnessPal? Because MyFitnessPal also sucks as a user right now because everything's behind a paywall. But then the app I do like for macro tracking and such isn't integrated with my fitness app because my fitness app is jank. Well, no, I like the fitness app. It's not jank. I like it. But I want to nuke that and start over with something else entirely. But I also know that I have to move all my programs and forms. And at the same time, I also just want to be like, here's a Google form and let's do it that way. No, that doesn't work either because, we're all techie and apps are the best way to track things and see metrics over time and, not have to do all of the analytic-y stuff yourself. I also hate all of my content. Every script I'm looking at right now, I'm like, is that really me though? I just want to stream DK Bonanza. That's all I want to do right now. And I don't want to edit any of the videos I have in my backlog. I just want to stream. I'm in that phase where I just want to stream and I don't want to work on, fitness content because the whole online marketing industry has been destroyed. And I think fitness coaching is partially to blame. Aside from TikTok Shop also being partially to blame, fitness coaching is 100% a part of the problem. because these motherfuckers in my space think that they can charge $500 a fucking week for Google Forms and, bare minimum access, which is fucking insane. And, resell Mind Pump's programs as their personal training because they didn't actually go get a personal training cert. They just got their nutrition shirt. What? I'm sorry? Yeah, I get it. You have a business to run too, but, go get more clients. Stop acting like $500 for basic online coaching is reasonable, because it's not. But that, that world where people are asking for $500 has also created this lack of trust in fitness coaches. We are, also the fact that a lot of us are, crunchy and scrunchy, and sometimes, even though our, not degrees, some of us do have degrees, but I mean, my degree is in STEM, just not that kind of science. Anyways, our whole industry is, supposed to be science-backed, but some of us don't believe in science. V-shred. Fuck V-shred. Some of us don't believe in the basics, and some of us, like Liver King, like to sell shit and polish it and say, yeah, I'm worth it. No. And then you've got, AI fucking coaching apps that are just gonna get people hurt. And you've got the MLM babes. So essentially, all trust in anyone who says they're a fitness professional has been destroyed, because there's no real way to tell what fitness professional means, except for their content. But the problem is when you go to do fitness content, everyone says the same goddamn shit, and you don't stand out. It's the same thing with gaming content, right? Everyone's playing the same goddamn game, so you gotta figure out a way to stand out amongst the crowd. Unless it's a game that's just known and beloved, and, people will go watch any new version of that game, like Super Mario Odyssey, and I think DK Bonanza is gonna be like that, like I mentioned in the previous episode. However, yeah, I hate all of my content because I don't want to be another one of the crowd. I want to do something different. And I think my DK Bonanza video is going to be different because, I have to, spin a wheel of death every time I die, and I just have to edit it and get it out there. And I'm going to kick off my gaming channel with that. I need to do channel trailers and things like that. I hate all of my scripts. I hate all of my content that I've done previously. I hate all of my short form content. I have no ideas for short form content at this point. None. It is a blank brain up here. The creative block is so fucking real right now that I don't know. Maybe I'm just angry and need a little Dr. Pepper in my life. I don't fucking know. But I have, there's some videos that I don't hate the concept of, right? I follow a pro esports player plan for a week. I do nothing but walk on my walk pad for a week. Here's what changed. The video that I'm going to film later on today, what's it called? How long does it take to burn 500 calories playing Beat Saber? I think my headset might die first, to be honest, but we'll see, and we'll get there. We'll pause the workout if we have to. I don't know why I picked 500 calories either. That's just kind of a random, that's what my rings were automatically set to, so that's what I'm gonna do. I just hate all of my content right now. And I want to grow, and I want to be consistent, but I hate all of it. So I'm thinking I'm just going to film, edit it, put it out there, just force myself to sit down and do all of these things today while I'm sitting here and in this energy of I hate it all, just so I can break down that creative. But what if it doesn't do well? Then I think I'm gonna just do more of it. I have to get over the it's slop mentality, because I think that's what stops me from being a better content creator, being a better coach. We all suck at some point, and I know that, but my brain doesn't want to let me suck. My brain is just like, well, if you never put it out there, then it doesn't suck. And then I unlist a bunch of stuff and I change everything, and then I can just, keep blaming the fact that I've restarted 500 times as the reason I'm not being successful. But more and more, my turning 30 is breathing down my throat, and I'm only a month and a half away from that, and I'm not where I want to be at all in any way, shape, or form. So we're gonna turn this around. And yes, it's a Saturday episode. I said I was going to start Kaizen Challenge again, and I kind of did. I filled out one day, not fully. Life is just weird right now, and having any resemblance of a schedule is not it. And I've been forcing myself with this podcast to have a very structured thing because I think structure is what attracts people. But the reality is the name of this podcast is Chaos and Fuckery. I am chaos and fuckery, literally as a human being trying to build a business as someone who is total chaos and total fuckery. I went over to Universal the other day after work just because I fucking could. I wanted to look at Halloween Horror Nights props. That's what I did. And I recorded this whole episode that was supposed to go up today about how, the administration hates small business and how it's difficult to be a small business owner in today's day and age because no one really wants to support us. I hated it. It didn't feel like it felt so structured. And I do want to get to a point where I'm adding, fun little videos and clips and, actually have a plan for this podcast. But right now, I am just living in the thick of building a fucking business. And even my camera, is following me in all of my chaos. I said a few weeks ago that I was crashing out. This isn't even the crash out. This is just the pure, unfiltered chaos with a little bit side dab of caffeine and vodka. That's really all I have to keep me going right now. And not so much the vodka, more just the caffeine part. The vodka is only for the DK streams just because it's funny and because I can. Because I'm also working on filming a video for YouTube right now that's, low-cal alcohol recipes. And to have B-roll for those recipes, I actually have to make the recipes. And that's the problem. Is I haven't been drinking, so I probably am gonna scrap that whole ass fucking video because I hate it now. I don't want to, just make drinks purely for a video. And that's where I'm at. I had a whole plan, 13 weeks of videos, mind you. 13 weeks of YouTube videos planned and ready to start filming, and most even have thumbnails already. They were planned, scripted, ready to go. I literally hate them all. And the ones that aren't easy to film and ready to go are the ones that I actually want to continue with. So I don't have anything that I can quickly put up to stay consistent on YouTube. And without YouTube and without TikTok, I have no marketing strategy to get more clients to then build my business. And I am in a place right now where I don't want to sell to people either. Because, like I said before, the marketing, world is destroyed. Everyone knows, the MLM girlies took over, and now everyone is distrusting of anyone selling anything because they think it might be, a TikTok shop link and now TikTok's, I actually am going to talk about this in Tuesday's episode because I do actually want to talk about this. TikTok's branded content, and realistically, if the branded content guidelines are changing, the whole guidelines are changing around when it comes to weight loss and before and afters and, how we as fitness coaches market. Well, not me because I hate before and afters, but most people. So I do want to talk deeper about that because it will impact the entire fitness coaching industry. And I think that's interesting. Also, I made my first sale on TikTok Shop. So that's cool. I get a little bit of a commission-y for that. And it was a product, that I actually use. So it's not like I'm just selling you junky shit. And they also have the ability to, request free samples now, which is kind of cool because then I can actually test things like the Aura Ring dupe without having to spend money. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. This is worth it. The business, the freedom, the, being able to buy an RV and move around the country if I need to with my husband is worth it. Every step of the way of working on me and bettering me so that I don't feel so miserable being a corporate drone is worth it. But I feel mentally out of control. I feel mentally like I might be up till 4 a.m. tonight. I feel mentally like I am manic, if that were a thing that, came along with some of my mental health diagnostics. I don't know. I hate everything. And I want to grow my community and specifically grow my Discord to, a bunch of members and things like that. But I also don't know what I want to do with it. I want it to be a community. I don't want it to be, me preaching about fitness. I want it, or me just, shilling my own shit. I want it to be a community. I want people to talk. I want it to be a whole round circle of things. I don't know. I I don't even know how to make friends as an adult. That's where I'm at right now. Because I feel like all of my friends are long distance friends. They're the friends that, you could check up on them every few months and, we'd still pick up right where we left off. But they're not here locally. They're not people I can go do things with and go hang out in the parks with and, do things when my husband's traveling with, so that I'm not just alone in my house with my cats like a crazy cat lady. Yeah. And, I've really been considering, I love my home from the perspective of it's an asset, right? But I also either, with the RV, I can go wherever I want. I can go stay in Orlando with an RV at like a camp and with my cats so that I can go do, a weekend at Halloween Hornets or, do several days in a row at the parks without having to make sure that my animals are okay. And maybe I do that anyways. I just like rent out one of those RVs and you go to one of those camps that you have. And that's how I start my cats on the RV thing. I want to live closer to the parks, but I don't want that to be my permanent residence because I hate Orlando traffic. I don't want my permanent spot, but I want to have a spot so that I'm not getting hotels and things all of the time when I want to be over there and do things. There's so many things that I want right now that just aren't my life. And that sounds crazy, but I think that is a part of turning 30. I think that's a part of entrepreneurship, is where you want more for yourself and you're continuously pushing to build. And I have this weird fire that I need to be successful at anything other than being an engineer. I have been thinking about businesses since the day I started back as an engineer. I took a hiatus year and then I came back. But during that hiatus year, I had convinced myself that there was no way in the world I would go back. I was going to make it work somehow without going back. I wanted to go to vet med school. I wanted to do anything but be an engineer again. And I like some of the skills I've gained. I like being software savvy so that I can, write my own apps and things like that. But I don't love being an engineer. And I'm finally on a team of people at my 9-to-5 that understands that. That understands that, this is a 9-to-5, not, a cult, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I am even more fired up. But part of that is I get bored very easily with certain things. I love fitness and I love coaching, but I'm not your coach that, goes to the gym every day. And I never have been. I need to do it to keep myself fit. But my version of exercising every day is, the walk pad while I'm playing video games or playing Beat Saber or going paddleboarding or walking around theme parks. My version of staying fit isn't the gym every day. One of my clients messaged me the other day. She's like, I went kayaking. Can that count as my workout? Absolutely. It's so much more fun than being in a gym. It's just we use the gym, when we don't have the time to go do all the fun stuff. And, being a remote worker for my day job and, building a business, sometimes I do have the time to go do the fun stuff instead of going to the gym. And I would rather do that. I am considering canceling all of my gym memberships and building a home gym again. Because, the only reason I kept one of my gym memberships is because I had a pool. But if I don't have access to a pool, I can force myself to go to the beach. And you know what? I might do that. Today. No, not today. Tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Need to spend more time doing the things I enjoy for me, for nobody else, and, making friends in that way. But I also don't know how to, like I said, as a grown adult, I don't know how to make friends. I genuinely feel like that is a skill I did not unlock. How do people make friends? Because even, online people that I chat with regularly, until I met them in person, I wouldn't consider them friends. And yes, there are several people that, I've met for cosplay, and I love that. And, ideally, I would like to try to make friends with females because I'm not one of those people that believes in, when you're married, you shouldn't have friends of the opposite sex, but, I have never really had strong bonds with females. And I've also realized that a lot of my male friends at one point in their life have had a thing for me, and that's why they were friends with me. They might not anymore, but I need to stop being blind to that fact and, make friends that, I don't know. I'm just ranting at this point, guys. because running a business is hard. Doing it alone is hard. Doing it with no support system is almost impossible. And I say no support system, but like I have my husband and he's really all I need when it comes to being successful. He has always supported every crazy thing. When I met him, I wasn't an engineer. I mean, I had my degree, but I wasn't working as an engineer. I only went back to it to, support us. And now he's building his career and I need to build mine. And yeah, I've been building an engineering degree or engineering career, but I don't want that. And I don't even know what to title this episode because at the end of the day, it's just a lot of me getting out how I feel about being a business owner right now. Because I hate all of creative block sucks. I have never had one this offensive where I want to create content. I do not want to disappear from the internet. I do not. But I have zero ideas. None whatsoever. And not even trending audios are resonating with me. I'm like, I don't know what I would do with that. And I also think trending audio content is like a phone in. It's not slop, but it's definitely a phone in. And, TikTok shop content is also, a phone in. I just want to do something. I want my brain to give me some idea of content I want to do when it comes to fitness, because gaming is all my brain can think about right now. All I want to do is play DK Bonanza. And, on top of that, I also want to play a little Disney Dreamlight Valley, but when I play that, I could just, walk on my walk pad and hang out. I don't necessarily want to stream that anymore. That's a me, downtime game. And I discovered I can run my giant, long HDMI cable from my PlayStation that's in here in my gaming setup for stream to my workout setup in my other room. And I want to build a home gym again, which is a goal that I took off of my 2025 goals because I said, I don't want to spend the money. But now the home gym idea has changed a little bit. I don't really want to do barbell work anymore, specifically squats and stuff. I'm kind of out of don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on barbell work. My brain just doesn't want to do it. Part of the reason I think I started avoiding the gym was because I was avoiding doing barbell back squats. And I tell every client that has ever existed, if it's not something you enjoy doing, you will not do it consistently. I don't enjoy barbell back squats. They fucked up my shoulder. Actually, I don't think that's what fucked up my shoulder. But they fucked up my body a little bit. And it's not because I'd have poor form. It's just because that type of movement. Anyways, I have really weird hips because I danced. And point being is doing parallel squats. I would much rather do something like sumo squats or, I pull deadlift sumo. I do like deadlifts. I don't like squats, barbell back squats. I really don't like front squats either because my hands are weird and anyways, point being is a lot of what was in my workouts and my programming at the time, I don't like. I like boxing. And these are all little small pieces of equipment. I like yoga. I felt like in order to be the coach that says, do this, I had to be the one doing it too. And I don't really like it. I like doing abnormal things that aren't, and I like to do body weight stuff, and I like to play Beat Saber and, just stupid shit like that. And I don't know how to change my content so that I don't sound like a hypocrite. Because at the end of the day, when I rebranded to Fit-ish Gamer instead of Coach KC, because I didn't want it to be about me being a coach anymore. I wanted it to just be about creating fit gamers. But the thing is I make random recipes based off of Pokemon and random mini, I turn a peanut butter pie that I love into a mini healthier version using PB Fit and dark chocolate instead of regular milk chocolate and peanut butter. I do shit like that. That's what I do as a coach. And I don't know how to turn that into content. That's not, a long form YouTube video that takes, a week or so because I've got to make all these different recipes. Because you can't really do a YouTube video for one recipe. I guess you could do a short form, a short with one recipe, but I'm literally just talking my plans into this podcast. I need some sort of creative jump, and maybe doing this Beat Saber workout will help kind of jumpstart me again on everything I need to be doing. And I'm gonna have a hyper focus day where I don't stream till later on today because I'm telling myself I cannot stream DK until I get all of these other things done. And maybe that's the way I have to do it. I used to get told that I couldn't. When I wanted something as a kid, I didn't have to work to save the money. I had to work to, have them buy it, right? I had to pull weeds when I wanted a new iPhone or something like that. And my dad had always said, do the things you don't want to do first so that you can enjoy the things you do later. Because he is notorious for procrastinating as well. And that's where I'm at, ladies and squirms. So I will try to make things a little bit more organized going forward, but I don't have a lot of faith in that because, I started this podcast because I am a lot of chaos and a lot of fuckery. And, a lot of things just happen sometimes. And I need to be able to decipher, am I making excuses or is this just happening? And I need to figure out a way to deal with it. And sometimes this podcast is the way I do that. So if you are along for the ride of watching me go from corporate drone to corporate dropout, feel free to, hit that subscribe button, share this podcast with friends of yours that might be also entrepreneurs in the thick of it, losing their minds. If you're a fellow gaming content creator or a fellow fitness content creator, feel free to, commiserate in the comments below because we all have a little bit of chaos and fuckery in our lives and all look to solve the problems, I guess. I don't know, but that was a lot of chaos and I am apparently a lot of fuckery lately, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on Tuesday when we are talking about the new TikTok guidelines.